As Deion Sanders is prone to doing, he's landing some transfer portal help for the Buffs, and it's some big ones on defense.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs. I am your host, Kevin Borber. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. We are also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcasts. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you go. Coach Prime, he's at it again. 2 transfer portal additions in 2 days. Look at this guy go. I had a whole episode dedicated to, realistically, I was going to talk about, excuse me, Coach Prime or Stephen A. Smith saying that Coach Prime should go to Alabama. And one, he kind of threw some shade at Colorado, and that was the whole thing. But Kalen DeBoer seems like he's the guy to be at Alabama. He's negotiating a contract, per reports. So all of that contract stuff and all of the Mike Norvell stuff is out the window. So Coach Prime is at Colorado again, and Alabama, Florida State, a couple jobs that won't open up for Coach Prime in the near future. So, a lot of people are planning on him leaving, but hey, it looks like he's staying for the meantime. But back to the transfers. They just added Nikhil Webb Walker, a linebacker transfer from New Mexico State, excuse me. He is listed as a linebacker, PFF graded him as an edge defender. He had an overall grade of a 63.2 with a run defense grade of 70.8, a pass rush grade of 55.6. His transfer post and all of the reports are listing him as a linebacker. So more linebacker help for Colorado. He's 6'6", 255 pounds, hailing from Jamaica. He had 24 tackles, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble this past season for the Aggies. And honestly, it's one of those things where it doesn't hurt to have more depth. I liked the DJ Lundy get. I thought he was going to be a starter right away for the Buffs, but realistically, it was one of those things where he felt like it was best for him to return to Florida State. And I think in doing this, in landing Walker over here, Webb Walker, excuse me, I think Colorado is just kind of trying to build a linebacker core by committee. DeMoy Kennedy is someone who should step up and is someone that they're hoping to kind of emerge as that guy. Because if you look at who they've landed so far in the portal, they didn't land a linebacker in the recruiting ranks, but they haven't landed a linebacker really outside of what's his name? Keaton Wade. The Wade twins are going to get me until I'm fully immersed in this the new group. Keaton Wade is the linebacker from Kentucky. He had some experience. I think he will contend for a starting spot, and I think Nikhil Webb Walker will also push for rotational. Or be like a rotational guy. I think realistically, I expect DeMoy Kennedy to at least get the starting role coming out of the gates. If he holds on to it, that's up to him. Trevor Woods is another guy who I'm not really sure what his plans were, but they did move him to linebacker eventually. So is he someone that could kind of run it back and move to linebacker or stay at linebacker? Because he's a playmaker. He is a playmaker. I'm looking at his bio right now over at Colorado. He's listed as a junior. So Trevor Woods will be back unless he declares for the NFL draft. I think they moved him to linebacker and kind of liked what they saw. Maybe that he stays there. So, and they have Brendan Gant, who obviously didn't play a lot this past season. So they have a lot of guys. They need a couple of them to step up and claim that linebacker spot, because right now I look at that linebacker group and I'm like, I feel like it could improve. I think Destin Wade could start. I think Trevor Woods would start. I think maybe Nikhil Webb Walker might have a chance. But either way, it's a good addition. More depth doesn't hurt. And then they added, speaking of depth, they added more depth to the defense line, and Torian Carter from Arkansas, 6'3", 303 pounds. He's someone who I think will kind of be a rotational guy as well for the defense. He obviously, all these guys have a chance to kind of step in and be that guy for Colorado. I'm not ruling that out, but He ranked 761st out of all interior defensive linemen according to PFF. He had a defensive grade of 57.7, a 54 run defense grade, a 64 pass rush grade. So obviously, I think the more depth, the better. I'm not trying to take that away from him, but realistically, I'm more intrigued by, I would say, Quincy Wiggins or Anquin Barnes, the Alabama and LSU transfer. Do they kind of take a step? He had 25 total tackles this season, um, and 1.5 sacks. So I think both of these guys are more depth pieces than anything. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You obviously need depth. That was one of Colorado's biggest weaknesses last year was, one, they weren't good in the trenches, and two, they had no depth behind the guys that weren't playing well anyway. So it was kind of like we're just going to keep throwing these guys out there and hoping for the best. And honestly, I think it was just one of those things where you need more depth. They're getting that depth. And keep in mind, Alabama's about to have a flux of guys into the portal probably. So maybe Colorado gets a couple guys from there. Washington's going to have some guys into the portal likely just because of assuming Kalen DeBoer takes the job. It says he's finalizing contract right now to replace Nick Saban. Somewhere from Washington may enter the portal, and that could be helpful for Colorado. So you just got to keep your eyes peeled. I don't think this is the end all be all for this Colorado team. I still think Coach Prime's going to continue to make additions as he does. You know, he's a very active guy in the portal. You have to love his efforts in the portal because he's obviously always looking to make to improve the roster. I just think that they need to figure out a way to, I guess, just kind of build from within. They built from outside in last year, and they were obviously really good at the skill positions, and in the trenches they were not. And so I think it could be one of those things where it's like, oh, maybe we should prioritize the line this time around. And so I think that's what they're doing, and there's no problem with that. I think they're just getting more and more depth, and not every transfer is going to be a home run transfer. I think all these guys have potential, but again, not everyone's a home run transfer, but doesn't mean they won't contribute. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use, and there's so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explorers tab, or you can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, which is the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. 2024 improvement. I think we obviously kind of know where Colorado improved, but I think not a lot of people are talking about it enough. And so I wanted to really focus on that. You look at this team last year, they were total offense, they ranked somewhere in the 80 to 90 range because they didn't run the ball. They couldn't pass protect, they couldn't establish the run. So what do? They go out and get I'm calling it 7 new linemen because obviously they get the 5 transfers. And then they get Jordan Seaton, make it 6. And then Tyler Brown, who it's a shame that the system, well, it might be similar, but it's a shame that it's not Sean Lewis's system in the sense that he would know it and just have like a step up above everybody. But he didn't play last year. So that's 7. Plus you got Savion Washington, who's back. So they have basically 8 or 9 linemen that will be competing for the starting 5. That's a great position to be in. All the transfers that they brought in were all really good or solid at their previous stop. And honestly, solid is a lot better than what Colorado had. So let's put that into perspective. They were terrible last year. They allowed 56 sacks. They, as I talked about a couple of days ago, they were allowing their running backs to get hit before the line of scrimmage on majority of the times they ran the ball. So it's just one of those things where it's like Colorado needed that improvement, and they did not get it from where I wouldn't say they didn't get it from. They didn't get it at all last season. They didn't. It was kind of like a just throw it back out there and hope it works. And obviously they bring in all these new guys. So offense line should be better, which means the run game should be better, which means Jase Sanders, he was already good, but he could be better. Not in the sense that he was bad, but in the sense that he was limited by a poor offense line that had him running for his life every single play. So you look at his numbers last season, you're like, wow, Jase Sanders was breaking records at Colorado, and he was doing so with arguably the worst offense line in the country. Imagine what he could do. Even I think a lot of people are expecting this offense, or they're wanting this offensive line to be like the best in the country. That'd be great for Colorado. I mean, having the best offensive line, never hurts. But they just need to be average. If they could just not be terrible, this changes the landscape for this program, for what they could achieve, and they could probably be competing for a Big 12 title if they can hold up in the trenches. That goes for both sides of the ball. So they improve on the offense. They get a wide receiver corps that I think is one of the best in the country. Realistically, you have Travis Hunter, who I don't know what his role is going to be anymore, because obviously they brought in so many guys, but he's a gifted athlete at wide receiver. He could do pretty much everything. Like, I think if he solely focused on wide receiver, he'd probably be the best wide receiver in the country. Without a doubt. He just has the ball skills that are unbelievable. But John Garcia, former co-host and current Rivals recruiting analyst, said that he has the best ball skills he's ever seen as a recruit. So Travis is there. Jimmy Horn's returning. I think Jimmy has a big step to take from year one in Colorado to year two. I think there's some drop ball issues that he could fix, and just some overall, like, not getting on himself so much. He takes himself out of the games, and it's the worst thing possible to see, because, like, Jimmy, stay in there. You could do this. So you got Travis, Jimmy Horn, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn. Combine the two, I'm sure that'd be a heck of a receiver. Jimmy speed with Travis's everything else. What a guy. But you got Travis, Jimmy. You bring in Will Sheppard from Vanderbilt. Will Sheppard, obviously Vanderbilt had horrendous quarterback play, and that's not to take a jab at over at Colorado's new quarterback, Walter Taylor, who was one of the backups at Vanderbilt, but he didn't have a really good, consistent quarterback play. It is what it is. And he still, every year, these were his stats: 43 catches in 2021, 60 catches in 2022, 47 catches last season. He averaged 13.6 yards per catch during his career. He's just a big body guy. He stands in at, I think it's 6'4", 6'3", 200 pounds. He's a big dude. That's a big target for sure, Sanders, to look downfield and throw to. So you get him. You get LaJohntay Wester, who's fast as they come, can return punts. You just got a new weapon on special teams. And then you look at the defensive side of the ball. We'll go back to offense real quick. A healthy Alton McCaskill would be great. Who knows what's going to happen? You go to the defensive side of the ball. You get 5 or 6 defensive linemen that will add. I think majority of them will start. Well, not a majority. I think the 3 or 4 of them will start. And then all the guys that were there last year automatically just become the next guy in, which I think for some of those guys, they're not meant to be starters at a Power 5 or a Power 4 program. It's one of those things. It's like they were starters because of what Colorado was missing. But if Colorado had a full roster last year, like a full roster of normal, like, if I don't think any of those guys would start at another Power 5 program. Maybe Jordan Dominic. But other than that, none of those defensive linemen were starting at another Power 5 program. Now those guys, they get more depth. They get bigger bodies. They get just overall more dudes. You need more dudes to stop the run. You need more dudes to pressure the quarterback. And that should improve. Linebacker, I still have my questions. I think that will probably be the weakest unit on the team. I really do. I'm not liking that linebacker group right now, even with the new addition. I think they got bodies, but are they going to be consistently contributing? I don't know. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing there. It's not to say that they can't prove me wrong, but I would say if there was a weak link on defense, it would be the linebackers. Defensive backs, I think Colorado may have upgraded the defensive back room to the point where they may have one of the better secondaries in the Big 12. First of all, Travis Hunter, he's there. I think he's going to take a step forward. He's getting used to that Power 5 competition. You get DJ or Dylan McKinney or whatever. He goes by DJ, but his graphics said Dylan, so I don't know what he wants to go by, but I'm going to call him DJ. He was Oklahoma State's second best corner, and Oklahoma State had a solid defense. You pair him with Travis. You have Cormani McLean, who really needs to take a step forward. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of scary hours in Boulder for him. The former 5-star obviously had a terrible year last season. He had bright moments, but if you look at the overall year, being called out for not showing up to meetings, being called out for not watching film, for really not doing everything right, not great. He obviously got some playing time and didn't do that well. I think there was bright moments like against USC, but then there was moments against like Washington State where they were specifically looking for him and targeting him the whole time. He's going to take a step forward. He's going to be another year at the college level. He knows what he needs to do. Does he do it? I don't know, but it's a good wake-up call for him. Omarion Cooper, experienced corner who just really was kind of getting picked on all the time because it was like either throw at Travis Hunter, which equals an interception a lot of the times, or pick on Omarion Cooper, who isn't Travis Hunter. There's nothing wrong with it. There's not many corners in college football that are Travis Hunter. And then also you have a couple freshmen that will step up. And I like what Colorado's did on defense. And then Preston Hodge, listed as a safety over at Liberty. Some people are talking about him playing corner, but I like him at safety. We'll see what he does. They got depth. They got experience. Combine that with what they had last year, this defense might look a lot better. Realistically, until I see the defense line in the linebackers group, though, I'm going to say those are the two weak links, and we're just going to have to wait and see how they develop. But it's not me saying they can't be good. It's just me saying that they have some room for improvement. Because who doesn't? We all do. This episode of Locked On Buffs is also brought to you by our sponsors over at Game Time. You shouldn't have to worry about when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. You get to see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, locked on, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. I appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day. My everydayers, you guys are the best. Appreciate all your comments, support, likes, subscribes, follows, 5 stars, Spotify, Apple. I appreciate it all. You guys are the best. We're here every day, free and available. So tune in, subscribe, share it with your mom, your dad, your friend, your dog. Who cares? Share it with someone. Let's meet some new friends. Colorado has some running back needs. I talked about it a little bit yesterday. I feel like it needs more attention because of all the positions that they're bringing in. All the positions that they're bringing in, I think the running back is being overlooked. Now, obviously, I did some running back digging yesterday, and there was LSU's running back committed elsewhere, so that kind of takes the wind out of the sails of who I was saying. But Logan Diggs went to Ole Miss, the LSU running back. Jam Griffin from Ole Miss went to Oregon State. And so Roydell Williams from Alabama. That's someone who, if I was Colorado, I would really consider going out and getting him. Brian Battle from Auburn. I just feel like there's a lot of talented backs in the portal that really need to kind of get on Colorado's radar. I think realistically, Colorado has a solid running back trio. Alton McCaskill's injury situation makes me nervous. After he hasn't played a meaningful game or meaningful snaps in 2 years, or at least 3 years now. I guess it'll be 2021. So I'm not really good at year math, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you know what I mean. He hasn't played a meaningful game in at least 2 years. Colorado needs running production. They need their running back room to step up. They obviously the offense line plays a role in that too, but they weren't getting big plays out of their running backs at all. There's 5 running backs right now where it's like, go get Rashad Amos from Miami of Ohio. Go get Roydell Williams from Alabama. He's the number 2 transfer running back available right now, rated 91 overall. Simeon Price from Mississippi State. Devontae Houston from UConn. Jordan Houston, no relation, I don't think, from NC State. Go get one of them. I think to take Colorado's offense to the next level, I think they need to actually initiate the run game. And I don't know if Alton McCaskill is healthy and returns to his former form, they have their back. If he has to ease his way back into the season again, I don't like where Colorado's at. They have Sylveon Wilkerson, who I think did well. I don't know if they relied on him enough. Realistically, it's up to the coaches who plays, and he wasn't always getting snaps. So they obviously didn't see something they liked there. Dylan Edwards is just undersized. So you kind of know, I feel like him being in there it kind of gives the play away because he's obviously going to run the ball or it's going to be a pass. And he's going to be not in pass protection. He's not good in pass protection. It's just one of those things. He's undersized. I think he projects more as a slot receiver. That's just my opinion. But I think another running back to bolster this room would move mountains for this team. I think last year we thought they did that with Smoke and all these guys and ended up not being a running back room worth talking about. But I think Colorado's running back room has room for improvement. I think it could be one of their stronger points on the team if these guys all complement each other. But if they're the few running backs that they have, I don't know how I feel about that. You guys comment below. Tell me what you think about the running backs. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to Locked On Buffs every single day and making me your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share it with a friend, share it with your mom, your dad, your dog, who cares. I hope to see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. I will see you guys on Monday.